Well, hi guys, welcome to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Morning Trade with me, Nandita Khemka. Well, over the next 30 minutes, we'll be talking about all the cues for trade, including global cues that are fairly positive. S&P 500 just about 0.5% away from record levels. In fact, even we are just about 150 points away from record highs. So looks like we are poised to start above that 21,500 mark today. Remember, 21,593 is the record level on the Nifty. Whether or not we manage to breach that, as we look at just about 3 more trading sessions for the year, we'll have to wait and watch. But of course, lots of cues to discuss today. Lots of stocks in focus, including the likes of Adani Group of stocks, Vedanta, as well as Zydus Health. We'll be talking about all those. We'll also be talking about the FMCG pack as to whether or not we can look at a year of recovery for the FMCG pocket as a whole. And of course, we'll also be taking up all your stock-related queries with our technical expert on the show. So if you have any queries, keep them coming on our live YouTube feed. We'll try and take them up. But before we move any further, let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Santa rally continues unabated on Wall Street as investors continue to bet on early rate cuts next year. The S&P 500 is just about 0.5% away from its all-time high, while for the year, the Nasdaq is up over 40%. Asian markets surge on the back of a strong handover from Wall Street. Australian stocks are near 2-year highs, while the Nikkei is up over 1%. The GIFT Nifty is hinting at a start above that 21,500 mark. Oil climbs more than 2% with Brent hovering around the $81 per barrel mark, its highest level this month. Further attacks on ships in the Red Sea prompts fears of shipping disruptions. Meanwhile, hopes of higher demand amid rate cut bets also drive prices higher. Among stocks in focus, Adani Port says its board will meet on the 3rd of January to discuss a fundraise. Zydus arm, meanwhile, gets 284 crore rupee tax demand, and SJVN bags 550 crore rupee solar power order in Gujarat. Meanwhile, AB Capital invests 900 crore rupees in 2 of its subsidiaries on rights basis. And 3 new listings to watch out for today. Credo Brands, which owns the brands Mufti, will list on the exchanges today. Happy Forgings and RBZ Jewellers will also make their debut on the exchanges today. Well, on that note, let me first bring on board our technical expert for today. Joining me is Vaishali Parekh, who's the Vice President Technical Research at Prabhudas, Lilladher. Well, Vaishali, great to have you on the show. First of all, season's greetings to you. Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year going forward in advance. But looking at the, indices, particularly Nifty, yesterday we managed to cruise above that 21,450 levels, for a greater part of the session. But, another thing to note is the spike in volatility, right? The India VIX is up somewhere around 7%. And after the kind of moves we saw last Wednesday, do you see some signs of consolidation on the charts, or do you think this upward momentum will continue as we look at the rest of the trading sessions for the year?
Very good morning, Nandita, and thanks for having me on the show, and best wishes to you and our viewers for the new year. Yes, so now talking about the index, well, we are very hopeful that we will cross 21,550. But I would say that, well, the cause of concern is even the volatility index is on rise. So either it is a sideways move for some time and with stock-specific movement. So it will be a wait-and-watch scenario. Let's see, because overall, the participation from the front line gives us that belief that, yes, we will cross the previous high and go into the 22,000 territory. Because I would say so, because Reliance is in full control. So is the case with HDFC Bank, and IT, of course, has started participating. So if all move in tandem, I think we are ready for a takeoff. But, well, let's wait for the previous high to cross.
All right, that's the view on the index. But, of course, you mentioned that banks have also started participating, the likes of HDFC Bank. But for the Bank Nifty in particular, what is the next key hurdle, in terms of level that you'll be watching out for?
So, well, 48,300 was the previous high. So that would be my target resistance for now. And once we see a cross of that, well, then we have our targets open for 49,000 and higher. So 48,300 is the near-term hurdle.
All right, 48,300 near-term hurdle and an important level to watch out for on the Nifty Bank Index. Hold that thought, Vaishali. We'll come back and talk about specific stocks as well. But let me also bring on board Preeyam Tolia, who's the Senior Research Analyst, FMCG at Axis Securities. Great to have you on the show, Preeyam. Season's greetings to you as well. Starting with the FMCG pack and how it has performed, on a YTD basis. If you look at the likes of Realty, Auto, they have, clocked in phenomenal gains vis-a-vis an FMCG pack which has clocked in gains of somewhere around 20% on a YTD basis. Investors who have FMCG shares will be exiting this particular year on a mixed note, right? Mixed feelings because volume growth hasn't picked up. For the likes of HUL, we saw 2% kind of volume growth, low single digit. So that remains a pain point, as well as a rural demand, which has remained patchy, right? There's no signs of recovery as such, at least till the second quarter. But going forward, how do you expect, the third quarter as well as the fourth quarter to pan out for FMCG stocks? Or would you say that it will be a year of recovery, 2024, for FMCG? Preeyam, is my voice reaching you?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Preeyam. I was mentioning about... Hi.
Yes. Good morning, Nandita.
Right.
So like you said that the FMCG pack has not performed well in 2023. So there are several reasons for that. Of course, the rural is the key reason for volume impact for the entire sector. Which has not yet recovered. But however, of lately, companies have highlighted that they are seeing some green shoots in terms of their rural demand recovery. Why the rural was not performing well? First of all, is the overall high inflation. Secondly, the uneven rainfall this year, so which has impacted the overall rural demand. So what we expect going ahead in 24 is that we expect the overall volume growth is likely to pick up for the FMCG sector. There are several reasons for that. Firstly is the overall consumer inflation is coming down thanks to the RBI intervention. Secondly, what we expect is that the government spending ahead of the general election is likely to pick up the rural demand for the sector. So what we believe is that the CY24 would be a better year compared to CY23 for entire FMCG sector.
Right. Value growth is something that is driving growth for FMCG stocks, right? But, of course, you mentioned that, we'll see an uptick in government spend in the run-up to the general election. So which are the stocks that, that are looking attractive from the FMCG pack to you right now?
So what we like in the FMCG pack is firstly the Nestle. So Nestle and Warren Beverages. These are the two key stocks. What we believe is that is likely to continue its performance because they are expanding the market in the rural. Secondly, in terms of Warren Beverages, they are also expanding the geographies, right? So these two stocks, what we believe is that is likely to perform well. Second stock, the third stock would be the HUL. Of course, their 40% of the revenue comes from the rural segment, and HUL is not able to perform well in the last several quarters in terms of volume growth. What we believe is that once the rural recovery comes in, HUL is likely to report better volume growth performance.
What are your thoughts on ITC? The stock has been stuck in a range. Of course, we've had the company announce the hotels business demerger for value unlocking, right? So going forward, what are your targets for ITC for the next year?
So we continue to remain positive on the ITC as well because all its business are performing well. However, in the last, if you see, the stock has run up significantly, right, being the ITC. So what we believe is that there will be some near-term sideways in the stock price, but company is likely to continue to perform well in the coming quarters as well. So we have a target price of around 525 rupees for ITC.
All right. Lastly, Godrej Consumer, there's a buy call on this particular stock. We have had a brokerage report wherein they have upgraded the stock and the target price has been up to 1260 rupees per share. Of course, it's earlier it has, acquired brands like Kama Sutra and another brand, right? And the integration is almost complete. So going forward, would you expect GCPL to emerge as one of the, top picks in the FMCG space for the next year?
Yes. Yeah, so we don't cover the GCPL actively per se, but what we believe is that whatever things after the new CF has come up in the GCPL, we believe that the GCPL is likely to show some results in the coming quarters and a year ahead.
Right. Also, in terms of Varun Beverages, of course, you mentioned that it is one of your top picks for the coming year. It's expanding geographies, has announced a South African acquisition as well. But by when do you expect, of course, the deal is expected to be completed by July of 2024, right? But would you say that the deal is EPS accretive, and when do you expect the impact to play out on earnings? And how much of an earnings upside do you see for Varun Beverages as a result of this acquisition?
Yeah, so if you see, of course, the deal will take time, and also the integration, not integration, but the numbers which is likely to reflect in the Varun Beverages results will take some time for that. However, the overall deal is accretive in terms of valuation as well. So what we believe is that the African market provides a huge opportunity for Varun Beverages, right? And so we believe that the company is likely to perform well in the coming quarters. We'll see how when the numbers is likely to reflect.
Do you have
But overall, we remains positive.
All right. But do you have any target price for Varun Beverages over the next 1 year, 12 months forward?
Yeah, recently after the announcement, we made a company update note. So we have revised our target price upwards to 1450.
All right, 1450 is, of course, the target for Varun Beverages. With that, Preeyam, thanks a lot for taking out time and joining in this morning and sharing your thoughts with us. Wish you a very happy New Year in advance and look forward to having longer conversations with you on the FMCG space.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, let's go back to Vaishali then. Vaishali, let's talk about the stock of the day, Zydus Health. It's an arm of Zydus Life and it has got a 284 crore rupee tax demand. Zydus says that the tax demand won't really have any material financial impact for the company. But if you look at the share price of Zydus, the stock has it was somewhere around 0.5% down yesterday. Over the last 5 sessions, there were no fireworks really. But on the charts, how is it poised? Even though it is close to its 52-week highs, do you expect some kind of a reaction in trade today?
I don't really think so, because from yesterday's move, if we are talking, it's just a minor consolidation. So unless and until we break 670 levels, we would say that yes, there is further profit booking to emerge. But till then, I would continue to stay positive, and we would look at a target of 690 to 700 from here on. So for now, the chartical look looks pretty good and ready and poised for a new high towards 700 levels.
All right, expect new highs towards 700 levels on a Zydus. But how would you look at a Hero MotoCorp on the charts now, Vaishali? I mean, the stock hit a fresh 6-year high yesterday. Any signs of consolidation or any signs that the stock is in overbought zone, or do you think this rally has more legs?
Well, so talking about all these two-wheelers, we are seeing that it's in deep overbought and it just continues to surge high. So my suggestion or view would be to keep a trading stop loss, because seeing the euphoria in the market, this is still likely to go towards 4,200 levels. But all the same, I would definitely say keep a controlled trailing stop loss, and disciplined trading should be observed in these stocks per se. Talking about Hero Moto or Bajaj Auto or TVS, all have given us a good run up. We are seeing weekly charts still look very positive. There is no sign of exhaustion. So in that relation, I would say that there is a possibility of a further run up. But yes, I would say hold on with trailing stop loss.
All right, hold on to a Hero Moto with trailing stop losses. Of course, we have seen a very strong rally play out across the two-wheeler basket. After a long lull, in fact, autos have come back in favor this year. But let's talk about an NTPC. We have a query coming in from Naveen on this particular counter. On a YTD basis, the stock has done phenomenally well. 80% kind of gains on a YTD basis. And every other day it is among the top gainers on the Nifty. So here on, it's very close to 52-week highs as well. But are you seeing higher highs on the charts? And if yes, then what are the levels you'll be watching out for next?
So, well, chartically, it still looks poised for a new round of momentum. Yesterday's candle was also very positive. So, we need to cross 315 levels decisively from here on. And from there on, I would be looking at a target of 325, 330. So, for now, it still looks very positive.
Another stock, of course, in focus is Adani Green. Yesterday, we saw a last hour spurt. The stock went up 6% or thereabouts. Of course, it's the fundraising plan really that sent the stock rallying in trade yesterday. But for investors, who have this stock, would you advise booking some profit, partial profit at least, or do you think sit tight?
I would say, seeing the previous data, all the Adani category, and now that we're talking about Adani Green, still there is a lot of scope for upside. So I would say continue holding and in fact look for a buying opportunity in decline, because I think the way these stocks are surging, this is ready for a target of 2000 from here on. So I would say it's a very bullish view.
All right, bullish view. Mohit Anand Bhatia had a query on the Adani group of stocks. Hope that answers your query, Mohit. But let's take up some queries on the defense pack. Of course, the likes of BEL. I mean, that stock hit a fresh high yesterday. Mozo Dog. Defense stocks have been the flavor this entire year, right? But Debu K wants to know what are your thoughts on Mozo Dog? I mean, on the charts, I mean, you see, the stocks have been in an uptrend for quite some time. But do you think investors should just stay put and not look at booking profits? Or do you think it's time to take off some profit and perhaps invest in some other sector?
I still don't think so, because seeing the chart of Mozo Dog, yesterday we saw good momentum coming in all defense stocks. And Mozo Dog has got a possibility of going towards a target of 2350 to 2400 levels for now. So I would say please hold this stock because it has come out of its long consolidation range and now showing good volume, good momentum. So I would be looking at a target of 2350 to 2400 to start with.
All right, that's the view on Mozo Dog, and hope that answers your query. But Rakesh wants to know whether it's the right time to make a fresh entry into Tata Motors, and he wants to hold on to it for the next 1 year. Looking at the charts, it is above that. It has been holding on, holding up above that 700 mark quite smartly, and of course, it has quite a few launches lined up in the new year as well. A dash at 800 possible sometime soon?
So I would say, since his view is for a longer term, I would say he should buy in tranches. The range for Tata Motors, say for near-term support, we are looking at 700. But even if there is some choppiness coming in and we see a good corrective move, I think on a broad base, 680 holds as a very good support. So I would advise that since it's for a long term, keep buying at every dip and look for a target of 780 to 800 levels with a 1 year horizon.
All right, 780 to 800 is the kind of target that you should be watching out for. Rakesh, hope that answers your query. The next query is coming in from Ashokan, and he wants to know your thoughts on an INF Beam. The stock was up somewhere around 1.5% yesterday. It is close to 52-week highs as well. Do you track this stock? Would you advise investors to look at this one?
Well, let me just have a look. So normally, I've not recommended these stocks, but seeing the chart purely on chartical terms, I would say 20 holds as a crucial support. And right now we are seeing a little bit of consolidation. So keep 20 as a support to hold this stock. And if we see some fresh buying emerging, this can go towards 23, 25 levels in times to come. And seeing the weekly chart, it's poised for a target of around 30 levels also. So 20 should be the support, and look for a target of 30 if you're ready to hold as a positional fit.
All right, that's the view on INF Beam. Hope that answers your query. There's another query coming in on a Suson. The stock has taken a breather, after the kind of solid up move that it has seen in the last 6 months. Of course, the stock is up over 160%. But off late, some bit of a breather, is what the stock has taken. But would you advise, traders to in fact look at buying into these dips?
I would totally agree. So, because now, purely on technical terms, it has made a very strong uptrend. We saw this consolidation. So, this consolidation can be extended towards the level of 30 also. So, I would say keep buying this, because now when you are seeing the longer term chart, you feel that yes, it's ready for further new highs as well. But of course, that will take time, because the previous rally, what we witnessed was right from rupees 8 to the high of 44 one way. So it will take some consolidation time. So 30, 36 is a very good band to start accumulating the stock, because in all likelihood, we can see 50 and 60 levels, keeping in mind that this is the base.
All right, that's the view on Suzlon. Of course, the stock has been in an uptrend, and of course, the uptrend looks intact. But SJVN, this stock will be in focus. It has bagged a 550 crore rupee solar power order in Gujarat. We have a query coming in on this stock from Jeevan. SJVN on the charts, how is that looking right now, Vaishali? Stock has been in an uptrend, but over the last 5 days, it has taken some bit of a breather. What's the strategy here? Would you advise traders to look at this one?
Well, there is no clarity as such, but for near-term basis, if for a new entry, I think keep 84 as support levels, and look for a target to start with for 100, and then we have a relook.
All right. What about paint companies? The likes of Asian Paints, Kansai, Narolac, there is Berger. Anything interesting on the charts at the current juncture?
No, we have been seeing good run-up coming in these stocks since a couple of days. And Asian Paint also chartically looks very good, making higher bottom formation and getting into a very strong uptrend. So I would say now from here on, 3200 should act as a support. Even if people need to buy at current levels, keep 32 as a support level and look for a target of 35, 3600 from here.
All right. I also want to get in your thoughts on an Aditya Birla Capital. Of course, there is news flow that it will be pumping in 900 crore rupees in two of its subsidiaries via rights issue, right, on a rights basis. From the, financial space, this particular stock, Aditya Birla Capital, hasn't done all that well on a 1 month basis, on a 6 month basis as well. The stock is down somewhere around 17 to 18%. For somebody who has holdings in this stock, should they, book out and look at other stocks?
Well, right now we are seeing after a good trend, there is some profit booking coming in. So 150 should be taken as a support level. So let's see if 150 levels break, then yes, exit the stock and get it here. But till then, I think we may see a bounce back, at least coming towards 170, 180.
All right. And what about Piramal Enterprises? Of course, the stock has been in focus, especially after RBI's crackdown on AIF exposure. But of course, the company has declared its exposure, and has already outlined, ways to, pair that exposure, right? But on the charts, Piramal Enterprises, how is that looking?
So I would say, to my understanding, the worst is over. And 880 should act as a good support level, because it has taken the support of the 200-day moving average also, and we are seeing some volume pickup and signs of reversal. So for now, I would say just have a small trading strategy of 880 as stop loss and look for a target of around 1000 levels. So once we see a breach of 1000 decisively and a follow-on buying, then it is really good for a takeoff towards 1100 to 1200. So this is how I would look at this stock.
All right. Last query then. This one is on, Tata Steel. Alistair D'Souza wants to know your thoughts on Tata Steel. Yesterday, of course, the metal pack was buoyant, but Tata Steel, was down. It was up 1.5%. But over the last 5 sessions or thereabouts, hasn't really done much. Do you see a trade here in Tata Steel? And, since you're talking about the metals pack, Vedanta will go ex-dividend today. So what is the kind of level you'll be watching out for on a Vedanta as well?
So Vedanta, well, of course, we'll see some dip coming in, because if that's how it is. But I would say on a broad base, look at 240 in Vedanta as support to take as a buying opportunity. And I would be looking at a target of 270 to 75 from there on. So that would be a good positional trade. And talking about Tata Steel, I don't see any problem, because, of course, market is not so very, we are seeing sectoral or stock specific movement. So I would say 125 should act as a support for a target of 150. So that's how I'm looking at Tata Steel and Vedanta. My view remains intact. 240 should act as a support for a target of 275 to 280.
All right, that's the view on Tata Steel, and of course, coupled with that, we've got a view on Vedanta as well. Hope that answers your query, Alistair. But with that, we've come to the end of the query segment. Vaishali, before I let you go, what are you spotting on the charts in terms of recommendations for our viewers today?
So, well, for short-term trading, I'm looking at India Cement. Yesterday, we saw a good volume pickup, good candle formation. So, 250 as stop loss and look for a target of 280 as a trading strategy. The other stock to my liking is ONGC, which has shown good takeoff and continuing to surge high. So, for near-term basis, 200 as stop loss and look for a target of 220. But as a positional trade, I am looking at Zentech and DCB Bank. These two are technically very well placed, ready for a good positional run-up coming in. So Zentech, well, it's at 771, and not Zen Technology, I'm talking about Zentech. So that is 770, that's what we saw yesterday's close. And I would be looking at a target of 800, 820 to start with a stop loss of 750. And look at DCB Bank. DCB Bank technically very well placed, and I think it gives a good upside potential of a target of 160 to 180 and stop loss of 110. So these two stocks are to my liking as a positional.
All right, those were the recommendations coming in from Vaishali. With that, Vaishali, thanks a lot for taking out time and joining in and answering all of your queries so patiently. Wishing you a very happy new year in advance. I'll meet you on the other side on a brand new year, and hopefully you'll have a profitable one going forward.
Thank you, Nandita, and wishing you the same. And yes, looking forward to a bright start.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Morning Trade. But before I go, three new listings to watch out for: Credo Brands, RBZ Jewellers, as well as Happy Forgings. Out of which, Credo and Happy Forgings are expected to have a blockbuster debut. The grey market premium indicates premium of somewhere around 35% to 70% for these two stocks, but not quite a dazzling debut likely for RBZ Jewellers, because here the signals are pretty much lackluster. So let's see how these three listings really pan out. 10 a.m. is when the three stocks will be making their debuts on the exchanges. So watch out for that. But with that, completely timed out on this edition of Morning Trade from me and the entire team. Thanks a lot for watching. But of course, stay tuned, because coming up next is Opening Bell.